in my opinion, the evolution started in my generation with guys like Magic and Chuck. Now I'll explain. You saw Magic being 6'9" and he could dribble. Remember the stereotypes of basketball? Big fellas on that end, little fellas on this end. When Magic started dribbling, we was like, no, big fellas on this end too. Whether it was Steve Smith, whether it was other guys. When Barkley took it behind his back, went down, dunked two hands, it was like, okay, big fellas can now lead the break. So now in practice, we're doing things just as simple as just take the middle lane. You know, big fellas never get to take the middle lane. So in high school, I see these guys do it. I'm not thinking about Dirk or anybody else. We're older than them. We're thinking, no, this is part of the league now.
Chris Webber, who was drafted in 1993, had his mind blown as a teenager, seeing a 6'9" player doing things that since the 50s was not allowed for big men to do. And Webber was a great example of a big man who was highly skilled and exhibited guard skills his entire career. In just one decade, the NBA shed the cocaine stigma, raised the average annual salary, and already began showing signs of an evolving big man. While the 90s was filled with dominant traditional centers, the 90s also brought big men that were highly skilled, with players like Tim Duncan, Kevin Garnett, Rasheed Wallace, and of course, Dirk Nowitzki. Despite the new talent with new skill sets that entered the league, there was one traditional big man that sped up the evolution even more. The Diesel was drafted in 1992, and to be frank, he fucked it up for all the centers to come after him. The 7'2" behemoth is easily the most dominant force we've ever seen in the NBA, and that changed the league entirely. Shaq, who's listed at 325 online, admits that en route to his third championship, he got all the way up to 395 pounds, which is scary to think because he was so quick still. And it's no surprise to me that he literally struck fear into opponents. Even Shaq says that he believes his dominance and physicality caused players to drift further and further away from the basket.
The more physical I became, I just seen all the other centers do this. They just slowly keep doing that, keep doing that, keep doing that.
And I think seeing a player like Shaq made it easier for players who were 7 foot tall and skinnier to slide down to the power forward position like Tim Duncan, Kevin Garnett, and Dirk Nowitzki. In the 70s and 80s, those guys would have probably been forced to play the center position, but in the 90s, they were able to start carving out a new look power forward position, a position that would be occupied by elite players through the 2000s.